Hey guys, thanks for tuning into my drive-by, guys. It is 79 degrees. Today's May 29th, 2015. It's great. It's 9:57, 10 o'clock. I'm heading towards Tampa. You can see this here. I'm just passing exit 182. Up on the I-75 going southbound. I hope everybody's doing great, guys. It's like I say, it's 79 degrees. And hey, Weapons Education, I wanted to just do a shout out to him. I know you're listening. I think you're on the west coast, the West Palm Beach area. I just wanted to say hi because you're my neighbor. And Hot Dogger 808, how he's doing? He's an Aussie. He's in Australia. He's a fellow Desert Eagle fan. And Buffman, he's the 5'7" guy, an ammunition shooter of friggin' YouTube. He's shooting all his ammunition and testing stuff and coming up with the new companies that make ammunition and stuff like that, which is really cool. And my cameras decide to go out in and out of focus because it's focusing probably on a fly or something on the windshield sometimes, and it goes out of focus. But either way, I hope everybody else is doing great. If I forgot anybody's name, I got a few hundred subscribers. Thanks for everybody subscribing and bringing up my subscriber base up. I really appreciate it. I will have some more giveaways coming out soon. But I wanted to bring up, and this is, I guess, a drive-by about compensated barrels. I'm just trying to get this focus a little better. Maybe if I go a little closer and bring that out, that may look better. You get a little bit more ambient light from the highway here, from the street lights. There you go. See, the thing is also, when I'm recording, I'm not using a GoPro or anything. I'm using, and I should try a GoPro and see how it works, because I got it in the car. I might hook it up. But I am using my Panasonic, I think it's TDC 700 or something. It's a high definition camera. I paid, I think when I bought it, about $900, but it's a really nice camera. And the nice thing about this camcorder, it's got a fantastic zoom. Look at that zoom. I mean, I can zoom in and out, just reach my hand over, get a real zoom. I zoom the cars. It's got good resolution. Really nice, really, really crisp. And I like these because I can zoom. And what's, going to be, you have a camera, action camera, if you can't zoom, what the hell good is it? I could zoom in on a bird's nose, at a few hundred yards with this thing. It's really nice. But anyway, let's go ahead and start our video. And today I'm talking about compensated guns. As everybody knows, I'm really a fan of the compensated firearms. And if I had it my way, I'd have every single one of my firearms ported all day in them rides. But needless to say, I started out with the compensated Desert Eagles, and those really, the controllability of the gun, it really helped so much. And then I went ahead and, after the Desert Eagles, I had the Smith & Wesson 500s, which were all ported. They came factory with the ported compensator in there, or compensated, not really. They were a little bit of both, compensated mainly. So compensated usually is a piece that added onto the end of the barrel, that's at the very end of the barrel, that helps with muzzle flip and things like that, and recoil. Most of your manufacturer ones, they usually do the compensated, or you can buy threaded barrels with compensators on the end of them. You can adjust it. Really, there's not many true ported barrels unless you go ahead and send it out to some place, like if you have a Glock, like Rock Your Glock, or you send it out to Magnaport, which are the inventor of the ported. They use a device which is an ESD, electrostatic discharge, and it gives you real clean cuts through your barrel and through your slide. It makes it look just like a factory porting, but they're the ones that came out of it, and they had a problem, some arguments. I blink my lights always for the trucks to get in front of me, and so when I used to drive a lot, that's what I always do. But in cars. But anyway, so The compensated, like I say, let's go back. Compensator is something you add to the end of the barrel. It's usually threaded. Sometimes it can be integral to the barrel too, but that's your compensator. Ported is usually something in between the barrel, not really at the end of it as much. Okay. However, some people can, like my Nighthawk Custom T3 Comp has a compensated Schumann barrel, and that has the ports right at the end of the barrel. But it's still, the way they're situated and how wide they are, it still makes it function as a ported barrel. And it's very good controllability, and that's what I wanted to get into. Started out with my Desert Eagle. The original ones never had a compensator for it, or they call it a muzzle brake. So you had to send the barrel out to Magnum Research, and they machined 3 holes in the end of it and installed this aftermarket part, which was made by Magnum Research, and that would allow your muzzle brake, a muzzle blast, and decrease it. And it added about 1 inch onto the gun and about a little over an ounce of weight. So normally your gun was 6 inches, your gun would be 7 inches, and you can add another ounce and a half for weight-wise. It did help a little bit with controllability, but it made it kind of big, like Howdy Doody. But it was the only game in town. So all my Desert Eagles, I put muzzle brakes on them. Then the Smith & Wessons, I bought them, and they all had, you might as well say compensators or muzzle brake. I don't know if you want to call it ported, because it's right at the end of the barrel. And usually it's in between there if it's a ported barrel, because it releases the gas, slows the bullet down a little, decreases the muzzle flip at the same time, and allows the bullet to continue on. So apples and oranges, what people call them. But usually compensator is added to the end of the barrel, and ported is in like maybe just before the last inch of the barrel or half inch. It's like a port in the barrel, they put a hole. Like your compensated Glocks, right? 21C, 17C, 19C, or whatever you're getting, 22, 23Cs. Well, they have ports just about 1 inch before the end of the barrel. So that's ported. It's not compensated, that's a ported gun. And I had some 21Cs on 1917C. They were ported from the factory. And then I bought a 21SF, and it had never been ported. So I sent it to Rocky Glock, and they put quadruports. That's 4 sets of ports, 2 in a row on each side. And they use an ESD, so it looks just like a factory Glock port. And I haven't really fired it yet, because I have a ton of shit work being done on the gun. And it's been in process for a year and a half right now. So once I get it back, I will take it out to the range and fire it, but I haven't as of yet. But so then my H&K 45, I says, well shit, I'm gonna get that ported. So I went ahead and sent it out, and I got it ported. Yeah, the guy did an okay job, but he just drilled a little hole in it. It has some side windows cut and top windows. So he put it in, and I took it out to the range, and it was pretty good. For a polymer gun, it did not jump up in the air as much. It was more controllable than my Wilson Combat as far as with recoil. The H&K didn't jump up as much, whereas Wilson Combat was more of a jumpier gun. So then I decided, well, I really like these ported guns, and I was looking around, and I had a Nighthawk Custom T3, which was hard chrome, and I had bought it in part of a package deal. Actually, a guy had a brand new Desert Eagle with a built-in muzzle brake, and I really wanted that, so I bought them both. And then I decided, I don't need 3 Desert Eagles, and the ones with the coated, like titanium, really those finishes are kind of hard to take care of. And I said, to myself, I would prefer to have stainless steel. So I sent it out, and I'm getting it highly polished. And when it comes back, I'll have the dual rails on it. It'll be a compensated gun. I got wooden grips for it. It's going to be all polished out, look just like chrome, and it's going to be beautiful. And I won't want for another Desert Eagle, maybe the L5, the light one, the carry gun. That'd be kind of a neat thing to have. But the stainless steel one is the best of both worlds, because if you get a scratch, you just polish it out. And those guns, you can polish them as high, just like chrome polish. And if you want to plate them or coat them with titanium, you could. but I'm not, because the finish is much better with the stainless steel than the carbon steel. And when they plate them and shit, they never get them perfect because the void's in the metal, and it's very, very hard. And at least the stainless steel, it's going to be better quality metal you're starting with than the porous carbon steel that's cast, parts of it. And it's just too porous and crappy to get a good coating or plate job on it. So then, I was looking, and I got that Nighthawk Custom, and I was looking on the internet, and they said that the Nighthawk Custom had come out with a Nighthawk Custom T3 comp. And I looked, and sure enough, they had made about 25 models. And this is not too long ago, about maybe a year and a half ago. And they only made 25 of them because Schumann, those are the barrels they were using. The Schumann barrels, the company was having some, I don't know if they were having financial problems or owner problems, but they were having some problems with their barrels, not with their barrels, but with their company. So they could not supply the barrels to Nighthawk. So they dropped that product line. And chances are they may bring that product line to Backer Con, but in the T3 they probably never will, because the T3 now they're on the T4. I don't even think they make the T3s anymore. So that product is discontinued, and the T4 is out now. You might be able to buy a T3. I don't know how long they're going to run that, because why would they sell both? I don't know, but I know you can't buy a Nighthawk Custom T3 comped. And the one I was able to pick up, I was looking and I seen one on the internet, so I said, crap, I'm going to sell that one that I bought in that package deal right away. And I sold the Nighthawk Custom T3, which was hard chrome. I just threw it up on, I think, Arms List or something like that. And I blew that out. I got $2,400 for that in a heartbeat. And I really didn't lose that much money, hardly anything, because I paid $4,100 for a Nighthawk Custom in a stainless steel Desert Eagle. And that's really not that bad of a price, because normally your Desert Eagle's for about $1,650, $1,700 new. So you're only really looking at about 20 something, 23 or something, 24, which is about righteous. That's a righteous number. So then I was able to sell that T3 and put a little bit of money with it, and I was able to go out and just buy that ported T3, and I paid $38 for that. But look at the price. A regular T3, if you just go anywhere and look around, are about $3,300, and that's not even stainless steel. Stainless steel is about $36, and that's not ported. And I mean, this is a ported gun. And it had, Crimson Trace laser grips with it. So Crimson Trace laser grips are about $390, almost $400. So that, I mean, you can't really put a number on it because they don't make it anymore, and it's rarer than a rat's ass. You can't buy that gun. You can't find that gun. So if you figure, let's just figure a stainless steel T4 now. I don't even know if they make the T3. I think they still make them, but probably not forever. You figure it's about 35, yeah, right about 3,500 for the stainless steel model. So a ported barrel is about, I mean, if you had to buy it and get the work done, you'd pay about $500 to get a ported barrel put in. And it wouldn't be the same design, because you'd still have to get the sights made for the front. They'd have to make the dovetail in the barrel. It would be a pain in the ass. So, I mean, you would have right there about $4,200 before anything. And that's just making the gun. Okay? That's not buying a factory one. That's just making it. You add a set of laser grips on that, you've got, and VZ grip screws, you got about $450. So, you're going to have close to $4,600, $4,700 in that gun. And like I say, that's if you could buy one and modify it. But you cannot buy this gun. And, I called the factory, and they're going to do some further research on the serial number on this gun. And I asked them, and they talked to the sales guy, and he says there was less than 25 of those guns made. I thought it was less than 100, but he said less than 25. and less than that in stainless steel, because most of those were carbon blued steel. So even less than that, okay? So there's even less than that number of those guns made. So I'm waiting to hear back how many were made and which number mine was along that range. And I think it was pretty low, because the guy I bought it from bought the gun in 2012. So he bought the gun 3 years ago. And that's, you know, he ordered it new. So if it was new and he bought it from the factory, I mean, it might have been fairly new, fairly low number. You don't know. But ported guns, in my book, and I don't care, you know, I'm just talking about my personal experience. Other people may have other experiences, but I've had about 10 Desert Eagles that were all had muzzle brakes on them. Okay, you might as well call them ported, but they had muzzle brakes on them. I've had about 5 Smith & Wesson 500s. Okay. No, maybe about 4. I've had 3 of the M500s, the 4-inch ones, and I've had 1 of the 8 3/8 inch Smith & Wesson full-size ones. I've had about 5 Glocks with all ported barrels. I've had the Glock 21, 22, 23, 19, and 17, all C's. I've had my Nighthawk Custom, right, which is the T3 ported. I've had the H&K 45, which I got ported. I've had my 21 SF Glock. I got quadra ported. Okay. So all those guns that I've had were all ported guns, or compensated guns, and every single one of those were charms to be around. They performed very good. They were very accurate, but out of the whole group, right now I can't speak for my 21 SF quadra ported because I haven't fired it yet. I sent the slide out to get a little bit more work, and I'm waiting to come back, and I don't think it's going to be back for 2 or 3 months. And I can't speak for the dueler, which I have on order, which probably won't be here for a month, because I ordered a prismatic dueler, and that's a dual barrel 45. It's going to be the one that's going to be in the new James Bond movie, Spectre, in November. So I should have that gun before November. And that particular gun is a 6-inch slide, and they compensated and ported. So they put 2 ports with cutouts in the slides and an oval window on each barrel, and at the end of it they compensated, which means they put some lightning cuts at the very tip, because the barrel comes out about 1 inch of the slide. So they compensated and ported. So that controllability factor is going to be way up there. Because I noticed, like I say, on my H&K 45, a polymer gun, I mean, it doesn't kick at all. It hardly kicks at all. It kicks like it's a 9mm. And then my Nighthawk Custom 1911, it seems like it's less than a 9mm. It's less like a 9mm with a very low, like a reduced recoil 9mm. And it's so accurate. I just point and pull the trigger, and I was like, right, almost getting bullseyes. I was like a 1/4 inch away from the bullseye. And I don't shoot a lot, but I will shoot more. But I highly believe in compensated and ported guns. I like the ported guns better. I think there's more controllability on a ported gun, because see, when you have a ported gun, you're putting the hole in the slide and in the barrel about 1 inch from the end of the barrel. Pretty close to that, or maybe a 1/2 inch. When you have a compensated gun, usually you're putting some weighted device on some threads at the end, or you're going to buy a Wolf, extended Glock barrel, and that's going to come out of the slide, and they're going to have some lightning cuts on there. And when you fire it, that is supposed to divert some of the gas, and it'll help a little, because the whole purpose of a ported barrel, when you pull the trigger on the gun, you have 2 main forces working. When you pull the trigger, okay, on an automatic and on a revolver too. Of course, you have less forces working on a revolver than you do on an automatic. But let's just stick with automatics. When you pull the trigger on an automatic, what's going to happen is the primer is going to ignite the mixture of gunpowder, and the cartridge, the shell casing, is going to go back, whereas the bullet's going to go forward. So what's going to happen, the bullet is going to be pushed by the gases, and then the cartridge is going to be pushed by the gases. When the cartridge is pushed by the gases, it's going to hit the slide and push the slide back. Slide, then your shell gets ejected, and then your slide goes forward, strips it off, and loads another cartridge. Okay. Now you have two forces working here when this happens. First, you have the push-pull, front to back. This is from the gas. It's going to push. You're going to get a push. Okay. As you get that push, it's going to make the gun go back. As it goes back, you are going to get a lift, which means the actual barrel, as the slide goes back, the barrel is going to go up. So you have those two forces. When you have a ported barrel, okay, as the bullet moves, it goes past the holes, right? And then the gas, okay, escapes. Once the gas escapes, the gas is going to shoot up. When the gas shoots up, it produces an opposite and equal reaction, to force. It pushes the barrel down. So you will still get the recoil. However, it might be slightly reduced because you're reducing the gases a little. You're getting less push-pull, but it's not going to be as critical as the up and down of the barrel. So when that fires, you get a little bit less recoil. It might be imperceptible to know, but as your barrel goes up, before it even goes up, the gas are going to push the barrel down. So your barrel is going to go down, be more on target. You're going to get less muzzle flip, it's called. So you'll be more accurate on your target. 100%, you will be. And people that say when you shoot it, you're going to get a big flame, you're going to go blind. Guys, note this. If you're in a defensive scenario with any gun in the dark, you are going to get a muzzle blast. Even a 22, you are going to get a muzzle blast in the dark. Take a gun and shoot a 45 in the dark. You're going to get a big ring of fire. You're going to get a blast, and it's going to take, some, I don't know how long, maybe milliseconds for your eyes to adjust to that. Now, if you have a light on your gun, right, a tack light, and you turn your tack light on and you fire, the effects are going to be much less because you already have a lighted area. So you're not going to get that because you'll get muzzle flash from really any gun. However, yeah, maybe you might get a little bit more muzzle flash, but it's not going to be enough to really stop you from hitting your target. Because if you're in the dark, if you shoot your gun in the dark, you probably won't hit what you're going after anyway. If you pull the trigger in the dark and you have a tack light on, even if you have a ported barrel, you're not going to notice that muzzle flash as much. Or a lighted room. Like outside, you don't even notice that. And a lot of people say for concealed carry and stuff, they pull it out of their... How many people are going to shoot their gun in their pocket on a 1911? It just ain't going to happen. So, the ported whole scenario, don't believe it. It's a lot of hype. Most of those people that talk about ported guns and compensated guns probably don't even own one, and really don't know what the hell they're talking about. Many people port guns professionally. You even look at, I think it's Jerry Michalak. I mean, he's that shooter. He has thousands of videos on YouTube. He's the top of the line shooter. He swears by ported guns. Okay. He has a ported M&P. He shoots all the time in competition. So, don't let anybody tell you against ported guns. Because ported guns for defensive, for range, for home are fine. Don't forget, they did a study. And, if you're in a defensive scenario where you have to use your gun, chances are you're probably not going to get much than 1 or 2 shots off. So, what's more critical is being accurate with your gun and picking a proper caliber. But compensation, ported barrels especially, can always help with the accuracy of your gun. So let's say you have a 9mm, and you know that's a little bit too much money for you. Well, you can get a 9mm plus P and you know and port the barrel. You can send them to Magnaport for like under $200. They Magnaport barrels, and they can do just about any barrel made. And believe me, the benefits of porting outweigh the not the benefits. Most of your big bore guns are ported. You know, a lot of your competition guns are ported. Why do you think? They're ported because it produces a reduction in muzzle flip, more accuracy, and you know, not a lot, just a little bit of reduced recoil. You know, but I wanted to bring that up. Ported guns, compensated guns. And there is a lot of companies like Lone Wolf and different people like that which sell threaded barrels. And if you don't really want to go out and port your barrel, but I would recommend you doing that, because by the time you buy an extra barrel, by the time you go out, if you buy an extra barrel with a thread on the end of it, buying a compensator device, you know, for the end of it, by the time you do that, you're going to have just as much, if not more money into your gun than if you would have went and got it Magnaported and then just bought a regular barrel. Because what you could do, the beautiful thing is that you could get your gun Magnaported or ported, and then you could just go buy a stock barrel and put it in. And if you really wanted to have the best of both worlds, you could. You can have it ported or unported. You know, I have the Nighthawk Custom, right, which is a ported Schumann barrel. Now I can contact Schumann, and for about $300, I could buy an unported barrel, and I could put an unported barrel in that gun. Of course, you got to send it to the factory, and maybe for $100 they fit it, but then I'll have both. I could use it either way I want. So there's always one option if you really like the gun. Because I would rather have one gun that I could have it ported and unported, have two barrels, than have two guns. You know, I'd rather have the one gun. You could shoot it ported, unported. You know, matter of fact, that's maybe what I'm going to do, because I was in contact with the guy that owns the company. I could probably still get the barrel. They're just, he's having a lot of problems, probably financially or something, or health-wise. The products are still good. There's nothing wrong with the products. It's just they're having other problems, unforeseen problems with the company. And that's the main reason why they stopped, you know, making the ported Nighthawk Custom. And let me know, you know, if you know of any other companies like 1911s that make ported factory, because I see some guys on YouTube building them. And you know what I am looking for? Let me know if you can find a ported Nighthawk Custom. Let me know, a factory one with a Schumann barrel. I'm interested in buying another one. I would prefer a stainless steel one, but if somebody found one, you know, in the just a blue, I might be interested. But I'd like to know if anybody, you know, has one out there. Very rare gun to find. There's less than 25, and if the stainless steel, there's probably less than 10. So, you know, because there wasn't hundreds of them made. There was less than 25 made, so in stainless, there's probably 10. I don't know how many. But this is just going by what the salesman said. So I'll have to look and see once I know for sure. You know, I have an email into Nighthawk Custom. I talked to tech support, and they just asked the salesman. The salesman said between 10 and 25. So we'll sure find out pretty soon. But yeah, that's my take on the ported guns. You know, if you're going to get something, I would get the ported gun rather than compensated guns, if you can. Some manufacturers all they offer, like the Desert Eagle, Smith & Wesson 500. That's all they offer are the compensated guns. People say they're ported, but they're not really. You know, your ported would be like you know, like the Schumann barrel on my Nighthawk Custom, or like a Glock 21C, or a 17C, or or a quadruported gun, or something got back from Magnaport. But ported guns, are they worth it? Are they just a fad? No, they're 100% worth it. I mean, I've got enough shooting videos that I know, and I'm going to go out and do a few more. And if you look at my shooting of the T3, which right above your head, right above you looking at the screen here, where the sign is, you can see the, you know, the link to my range video of that T3, and then you could, you know, look at some reviews. You can see how easy in the shooting video of that, when I shoot it, you can barely see. I mean, the bullets just flip over the barrel. They don't, you know, the thing is not flying up in the air. Such good controllability. Next thing what I'll do is I'll try to bring 2 cameras. I have my GoPro to record me shooting it, and then I can run this camera that I've got here. I'll do a close-up of the target to show you. And you know, I'm not a marksman guy. In the military, I was marksman in 45 and an M16. In the military, the M16 guys, guess what? We shot our M16s at 300 meters. We had 300-meter targets with our M16s, and I'd put them down. You know, I don't know if you know what 300 meters is. Okay, 300 meters is a little over 900 yards. Was that about a fifth of a mile? That's pretty far to be able to put something out. And I'm sure they go, you can get further. That's what we used to have our targets at, and I got marksmen in both. And then we did our grenade training and stuff like that. But, you know, accuracy, most guns today are more accurate than the shooter. But there's, you know, the thing is, we have to always understand here. I'll be going for my Glock Armorer's course here next week. So I'll be, I'm going to have a corner. It's going to call Ask the Armorer. I'm already a certified NRA instructor, and I'm a range safety officer, and I'm also certified to also teach home defense NRA course in basic pistol. So I'll be getting my armor, and I hope you check out my training videos I have. And above here, right up to the right here, click on that link. I have a 5-video series of courses that I annotated them and designed them with PowerPoint slides of firearms videos. I have stuff about ammunition type, and selecting a handgun, rules, regulations, and stuff like that. I have a slide presentation, then after the slide presentation is a real video. And I would have to say myself, I pride myself on my sight alignment. It's probably they're all good, but that's probably the best one. I've been told by multiple people. I show you PowerPoint, and then I show you an automatic and a revolver sight alignment, the different types of sight alignment, how to align, you know, when you're looking at a target, what to look for. So I urge you to check out these training videos that I have a link in the upper right corner of this video, this drive-by, because they really would help you a lot. And then I'd like your constructive criticism as gun people, you know. And I also have some Glock. I have a Glock video too, nice intensive. It shows all the different models of the Glocks. So I have a few things, but I'm going to have, in particular, Glock training videos, and I will disprove all the myths about, you know, modifications, how to take care of your Glock. So, you know, I wanted to bring that up. And if you have any questions, I go for my class next week. Ask the questions so I can ask them in the classroom of the instructors, so I can get you right from Glock, because this is Glock certified. It's given by Glock Armorers. So when I'm finished with this, I will be a certified Glock Armorer. And then I renew it every 3 years. They got courses throughout the country. And then after I get that one, I'll go for my advanced Glock Armorer. Because in order to get the advanced Glock Armorer, you have to be a certified NRA instructor, and you have to be a Glock Armorer. Okay. In order to take become the instructor. And that's a 16-hour course. I think it's about 500 or 600, and it's a 2-day course. You stay at a hotel overnight for it. But it's well worth it, and I'm going to be taking that one next after that. But I'm doing this not just for me. I'm going to do this for YouTube subscribers, you guys out there that watch my video, because I want you guys to be educated about the firearms that you fire. Now, I have a lot of different videos, and sometimes I am repetitious. This is a long video, but I think it's important. And sometimes I'm repetitious on my videos. I might show 5 different videos on a Smith & Wesson 500 or something. But you know what, guys? What I'm trying to do is show you videos that other people don't. I just don't want to flash a gun on the screen and say, oh, look at this Smith & Wesson 500, and read off of Wikipedia or something, or off the internet, the history of the gun. Because I don't think that does you any good. I would rather give you tips on it, just like, my Glock. I had my Glock before it was even rebuilt, before I did work to it. I took it apart, I disassembled it. I put a New York trigger in it, different connectors. I went through, telling you how to change things, take it apart, put it together, different coating and things like that. That's what I want to do, because I see too many people modifying guns out there, and doing it wrong. They're just doing the guns wrong for failure. Just like if you take a Glock, for an example. A Glock is a gun that was meant for law enforcement and combat. It's not a target gun. It's really not a competition gun. However, some people do use them in competition. But for that, you'd want to get a long slide Glock. You know what I mean? But you'd want to use OEM Glock parts. If you want a better trigger and a better trigger, you're going to want to put the 3.5-pound connector by Glock. You can buy them on eBay for, $12. And if you want it to feel more like a revolver and reduce the trigger pull a little, and give it like a, if you're law enforcement or used to like revolvers, you want that revolver type, well then you put a New York 1 trigger in it with a 3.5-pound Glock connector. It brings it down to like 5, and it's crisp, it's good, and it feels good like a revolver. So there's different ways to do this, different parts and things. But you want to really keep your Glock as much as you keep stock, because changing it too much, you really can run into some danger. And I see people up there polishing internals too much. You can polish them, yes, but there's areas on there you want to avoid, because you could really damage them. What's this guy doing? Why is there's not another, I guess there is another road there. But anyway, he's going in the woods there. But also, like on the guide rods, people change the guide rods around too much and stuff. Different kind of spring tensions, So there's a lot of little things and nuances about the Glock. But stay tuned. I got some exciting stuff to go coming down. I should be having my Glock videos up. My certification, I'll be getting that next Saturday, which I think is June 11th. Whenever June 11th is, I think that's next week or the week after I get it, guys. I'll have them armor them. It's going to be called like the Armorer's Corner, Glock Armorer's Corner. So I might even do some live chats. I just want to bring you guys information you can use. Don't listen to everybody on YouTube when they're modifying their guns, because a lot of people modify them totally wrong. Everything I do, any modification you've seen on my guns, I have consulted with a gunsmith, I have researched it, and I have tried it. It's just like, I'll give you another example. One guy on YouTube was showing a 1911. It's a little known 1911 mod, it's called, or something. And he takes this gun and he shows it where he or somebody did it for him, put a little ramp below the breech face. Now, a breech face on a 1911 is the face that comes in contact with the bottom of the cartridge, where the extractor's on the side, where the firing pin hole comes out. That's called your breech face. Well, right below that, on the bottom, where the square part is, there, all the way at the back of the slide, there's a little beveled area. It looks like a half a moon. Okay? That's where your disconnector rides in. Okay? Now, he, in front of where the breech face is, right below there, he put a ramp there. He cut a little ramp in there. Okay, that ramp is fine. If it was put in by the manufacturer, it's fine, because they do other modifications to the gun. So what that ramp does is when the slide goes all the way back, and it's recoiling back, and it comes forward, what that allows is when it goes forward, the disconnector doesn't get that hard hit on that. The disconnector goes down a little. So you don't get that, it gives a little less resistance. Of course, when the slide goes all the way forward, there's a little half moon in the back where the disconnector pops up, and does its thing. Now, my Nighthawk Custom from the factory has that in it. They do that from the factory. And I called Nighthawk and I asked them about it, and they says, yes, we do that, but we do other things to the gun too. So they do more than one thing except just cut that little piece out. So this guy's saying, well, you can cut this out, do this. Be careful in a 1911, guys. You don't want to wreck the gun. You don't want to ruin it. If the manufacturer does it at the factory, fine. If they don't, leave it. That's what I did. I bought my Ed Brown. I sent it back to the factory. I said, what can you do to this gun? They did all the modifications factory-wise and sent it back. And you want to be careful. And just like from Pete from the Armory channel, he says, probably only modifications you should do internal is probably polish the feed ramp and, the chamber, around the sides there of your barrel. You probably don't want to do much more than that. And that's safe. And, Pete is right. He's being safe. Externally, yeah, you can add lasers, grips, Yeah, that's really about it. Any other major work you get done, take it to a gunsmith or ask a gunsmith. But thanks for tuning into my channel. I know it's a little long and drawn out. And, I started off talking about ported barrels, but, even a ported barrel is a modification to a gun, and you want to make sure somebody knows what the hell they're doing that does it. But thanks a lot for tuning in, and I hope you guys have a fantastical night, and hope everybody's doing great. And thanks a lot for tuning into my drive-by. I'm on the I-75 heading toward Tampa, and I'm just coming up. Probably, let's see what exit this is. We can end this on the right here. You see the rest now. So exit 224, I think, is Ellington. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye.